and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build video. And look at that, I've already started doing some of the build. That's because the very beginning of the build was very glitchy, so it was just not working out for me. So I decided, you know what, let's just skip out the initial stages. But I went through the entire thing and I tried to get rid of as much glitching as possible. In the tour at the end though, there might be a little 5 seconds of it. But besides that, we're all good to go. So I'm finally showcasing you guys this desert village that I've been on about for, I think, since... How long have I been talking about this for? I don't even know anymore. I think I've been talking about this for maybe the last 6 videos. Because I built this near the end of March and it is now rearing into the end of April, so that I'm now astonished thinking about it, that I've been holding on to this build for almost a entire month, and now I'm thinking about it as well. I've been holding on to that English secondary school for an entire month, which means I've been on my Dark Academia romance books for an entire month. But in all seriousness though, it was honestly so much fun to make this. This took me, how long did it take me to do? It took me 3 days to create it, which is not the wildest it's ever took me to create a build, but it was just shocking because there was many things that were shocking about this build. One, in all honesty, you could look at this and it could have just been literally this area that I've showcased. It could have just been a strip. It didn't need to be an entire village / town / neighborhood, but I did. And if you've looked at my neighborhoods and my towns, maybe some of you go check out the medieval village if you've got the time, and also go check out the CYBERCITY if you've got the time. Don't check out the Italian one. I actually don't like that one that much. I'll redo that one day, not today, not tomorrow, probably not even next month, but one day. But anyways, what's it called? I normally, when I'm making these villages and these types of things, I normally go for a 30, no, do I do 30 by 20? I have done 30 by 20 for the CYBERCITY, but that's because CYBERCITY has to be clumped together. But I normally go for 30 by 20 or 40 by 30. I do not do this, which I think this is either 50 by 40 or it's definitely not 40 by 30, and it's definitely not, it could be 40 by 40, but there's no 30, there's no 20. This is a bigger lot. It's not the biggest. The biggest is a 64 by 64, which will be for the English secondary school. But this is a bigger lot than I would normally use to create anything, especially anything to this degree. I even made that a Milan road, which actually I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. I don't know. It's weird. I both simultaneously like it and I don't like it. I don't know how to describe it. But, anyway, so I did that. But I normally just don't do anything this big. But I decided to do something this big for the sake of, I felt like there's just, with desert villages, there's just so much expanse to it. So I just decided, you know what? I'll just go ahead. I'll do it. It took a lot of energy to do, and now I look back at it, I was actually doing one thing I was really surprised about when I was looking at it. I was looking at it and I was like, wow, I either cut off a lot of time decorating this, or it actually didn't take me as long as I was expecting it to take me, because the recording, this is not even my longest video. It took me longer to create the CYBERCITY. I think the CYBERCITY still remains as my longest video as of yet on my YouTube channel. I don't know about that English secondary school though, because that might actually just end up breaking each and every single thing, because that is a big video, because it's a 64 by 64. And the thing is about doing old architecture, which is what I utilize within the English secondary school build, is that they require a lot more attention to detail compared to making modern architecture. So modern architecture, I've talked about it before, it's very simplistic, very minimalistic and stuff like that. Not modern contemporary, but modern, modern ultra minimalistic, or modern super rich, just above where we are right now. And that normally is a little bit easier to create when it comes to making the Sims, but to make stuff not necessarily this. I think this is why this was also a little bit easier to do, because I did have to use a lot of reference pictures, but there's not that much like intricate little pieces compared to like when you're making a castle where everything has to have those, I forgot, columns. Yeah, everything has to have a column and stuff like that. Like those bells, those are the bells that take ages, like the castle and like the British secondary school. Because the British secondary school, I went to make it in the style of a castle. So that's why it took a little bit more time for me to do. Do you know what I've also noticed? When I do voiceovers, I get so off track with my head. And I think I've said it before that it's helped me maintain my conversational skills as I have been in the waiting period of me getting a job. And I've realized through this entire process that I know I go off on a tangent because I always say at the end of my video, thank you for listening to all of my ramblings and everything like that. I know I ramble, but I've only just realized how much I'm not even thinking as I speak. Like, do you know how they say you should think before you speak? I'm not even thinking. Like, I'm thinking, but I'm not thinking. I'm thinking like 2 topics ahead, and my mouth is talking 2 topics behind me. So as right now, as I am talking to you about how I like generally can't think and talk at the same time, like my brain is forwarding, I'm already talking about in my brain about the architecture as I continue to talk to you about this. And then when I get into doing the architecture, I'm only going to be talking about something else. And I don't know how to fix it. Some might say it doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be fixed because then sometimes the topic I'm supposed to be talking about now just ends up coming out like almost subconsciously. So then when I have to rewatch my videos, I'm like, okay, I can understand what I'm talking about, and somehow that came out as a perfect sentence. But right now, as I talk, I don't even know how I'm formulating these sentences. Like, it's, how would I describe it? It's almost like, I've said this before, but it's almost like when you're walking to work or you're walking to the gym or you're following some kind of repetitive path, you always take your subconscious takes over. But obviously, as English is, well, it's the language I know the most, but it's not my primary language. My primary language is Shona, but I don't know how to speak it. I can understand it, but I don't know how to speak it. But with English, it's my primary language, so I can speak it quite good. I can speak it quite well, I would like to hope. And because of that, I'm not really thinking about the different types of words I'm putting into place. So then sometimes things just come out of my mouth, and then I'm like, I really did just say that. And I can't even fathom it. But anyway, back onto the architecture, because now I'm already thinking about another point I want to say, and I've already stuck too long on this particular point, because this time I really want to start focusing more when I talk about architecture and I came to building this. When it came to building this, you can't see it because I had to delete it because it was very, very glitchy. But one thing that I had in mind the entire time I was thinking about when I came to making this build was that I really wanted to make that initial angled entry point. So as you can see, within the build that there is this angled entry point. And I think you saw it in the cinematic. Yeah, you did. It was like the second clip in the cinematic intro. There is this angled entry point that I utilized the castle kit arches, which are some of my favorite arches we have ever got in this game. They are so beautiful. But I think I'm here right now. Yeah, I'm here right now where the rock is placed. That little arch there that enters you into this entire village and it gets you to all the access points was the first thing I created because it was like, I need to have that arch. Beyond anything else that I create within this build, I need to have that arch in place because it just feels like almost like it's like not a gated community, but it feels so like it's in its own world. Because the thing is about building within The Sims, when you want to do things very stylistically such as this, and I think you can maybe even notice it between this and my medieval village, is that when in The Sims, you are being very stylistic in a world that is not particularly in the style that you are creating it in, such as this build in Oasis Springs and my medieval village in Henford Bagley, you will have other debug / world building things around it that ruins the vibe of the builds. So you have to kind of enclose it within each. First of all, you need to pick a lot, and I'm giving you tips if you want to build your own little worlds. But if you want to do something like this, you first need to pick a lot that is away from anything else that's around. So you can't have a what would I say? For example, I want to build Gotham. I've said this before. I want to build like a mini Gotham. If I was to build a mini Gotham, I will build it in San Myshuno. Where would I not build a mini Gotham? I would not build a mini Gotham in Willow Creek. I would not build a mini Gotham in Strangerville, in places where the architecture distinctively does not look like it. Even in other places like that is quite close. Like, for example, you might think that, oh, and honestly, if you do place it in a place that's really awkward, that is your business. Your game is your business. I'm not here to judge. But if you are to place, like, remember how I said before that I get really like auto with my speaking? I was just not even thinking. Like the past 2 minutes, I've just been talking, and it's like my supplement, it's like my soul's talking to you rather than I'm distinctive. Like I'm not thinking. I generally am not thinking. It happens as well as I build. As I build, I have like an idea in mind as well as I have a conversation in mind, but I am not actively thinking as I'm building. Like I will like double look like, oh, how should I put this? How should I put this? But then I just end up starting to add things, and then I kind of like stop, and then I'm like, I've just been added. Like within this build, I created the archway at the start. Like look at me going back 2 topics back, but I did create the archway at the start. But then after that, I was just kind of like, oh, I'll put a square here. I'll put not a square. These are 3D. These are 3D build, and I'll put a cube here. I'll put a what is the rectangle version of a cube? Is it I was about to say cupboard. I do not know my shapes. You don't take as much appreciation for the learning, the teachings you get during like primary school. You're like, oh, I'm always going to learn. I'm always going to know what a rhombus is. I'm always going to know what a trapeze is. But then when you're like 22 sitting in your room, and then you're thinking, the hell is a 3D version of a cube? I feel like my soul is saying cylinder, but my mind is saying it is not a cylinder because that is a circle but long. Okay, so, we've got a cube, right? We've got a cube, which is like squares. Now we've got a cylinder, which is 2 circle faces and then long. So what is a rectangle? I feel like one of you are going to be in the comments and be like, she really doesn't know what it is. Or what? No, actually, all of you are really kindly. I think you're just going to be like, honey, it's this. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And it's like, okay, thank you. But I'm actually going to research this. I would pause the video and research it now. But the problem is I have been sitting on this video for the past 4 days, just staring at it, knowing in my head that I need to do a voiceover. I need a voiceover. Even today, early in the morning. Do you know what I do? Let me tell you what I do. I wake up in the morning and I sit there and I stare. I said this in the previous video. I stare at it and I'm just like, somehow you're going to magically do a voice. Because it's not like I don't want to. I think the problem is, and I don't think I've discussed this as often as I should have, I have an issue when it comes to doing the process of Also, before I continue that, I'm trying not to jump too many topics today, but I know I am. I will get back onto my point about where to place this thing. I know I did skip over that, but can I just say how much I love the clothing line things we get in Island Living? Is it called Island Living? It's not Isla Paradiso, that's the other one. It is Island Living. Island Living, in the debug menu, we get these already pre-done washing lines, which are some of my favorite washing lines we have ever gotten in The Sims, because it just makes it look like there's already washing there, obviously. And I love the vibe, because I actually don't like doing laundry that much in The Sims. So like I ask for more gameplay, but realistically, I don't use it. And I think The Sims 3, I use gameplay a lot, but it's not just because The Sims 3 has the better gameplay, which it does, but it's also because in The Sims 3, I'm so stuck with the same family, and they just do things a lot more efficiently, and it just works out better. Like, for example, in this game, I was telling one of my Sims, hey, can you go talk to the other Sim? Do you know what she does? She just stares there, and then she burns alive. And then I'm like, I'm just like, well, in The Sims 3, you would have actually gone and done the thing. You wouldn't have just like stood there for a long time. The amount of times I have to, hey, reset Sim, within this game, because they just don't do anything. So when it comes to doing laundry and stuff, even eating, I sometimes just cheat the needs and like, okay, you're full now. Okay, you're awake now. Because if I tell them, go and make something to eat, it's going to take them 3 hours to make the thing and eat it. And now my day is finished and now I'm upset. So I just sometimes just cheat the needs because I can't with them sometimes. But anyway, I digress. Wait, what was I talking about? And it's not that I forgot. I know what topics also cool. Okay, let me just jump back to the previous topic where I was talking about processes. When it comes to processes, I can't, it comes to like, I find the difficulty of doing the process to do the thing, not to actually do the thing. For example, I hate looking for a job or applying for a job, but I love working. Well, not in a capitalistic sense that, oh, give me more hours, I want 50 hours a week. No, not that kind. But I do genuinely enjoy having a job and waking up, going to work, even if sometimes they can be a bit tedious. Like I've got paperwork to do or I've got things like that. I still enjoy like actually being in work and being productive and doing said work. But to get up, to get ready, to go into whatever transport and then to set up at work, that is what I don't like. I just already want to, like, if they ever invented teleportation, I will be the most productive person in the world because I just like automatically doing the thing. I don't want to do the process of doing the thing. And it happens the same way when it comes to like the gym and stuff. Like I want to already be in the gym. Like if you put me in the gym right now, I love weightlifting. I absolutely adore it. Leg days are my favorite days. That machine where you push it, I'll do 100 kg. I don't know how much that is in pounds. I think it's almost 200 pounds. And I'll push at it and I'll go at it and I'll have fun and I'll do a 10 sets, 10 reps. Like I'll just do borderline 100. Like I will just enjoy it so much. But to get up, get ready, change into my gym stuff, that was always the biggest issue because in my old accommodation during university, we had a gym in the building. I just never went to it. Why? Because if I could just go to the gym in my pajamas, do my thing and leave, I would. But I know that one, it's probably going to make because the reason why some gym stuff is scammy, but other than gym stuff is generally needed, such as like workout leggings and stuff like that, because they're just generally more breathable. I'm not going to go to the gym in like silk trousers and then fall over myself on the treadmill. But I understand why certain things are needed. But it's just like, I don't want to do the process of doing it. I just want to do it. And that's what happens sometimes when I'm making a video. Do I love building? I love building. That's why I have such a massive backlog. But the question is, do I love the process of going onto my computer to start the build? Like I want to touch my computer and I already want to have the Sims loaded up, the lots already loaded up, and me already ready to build. The same way with filming a video, I already want to be already talking. Like I don't want to go and then and the thing is, the process of doing the thing is always less tedious, is always less time consuming and like what's the word for when like it's a lot more less stressing than the actual thing. So for example, getting to work is a stressful work half the time. But setting up once you're already at work is less stressful than actually doing like a 6-hour shift. And the same way with turning on my computer and waiting like the 5 minutes it takes to actually get from turning on my computer and loading into the lot is less stressful than doing like 3 hours building like a desert village. Yet my mind will still make it seem like, no, the desert village is the easy part, is the getting the computer to load part. And it will be the end of me if I continue with that mindset, because it's something that I'm actively trying to change. Because if I continue with that mindset, there's a lot of opportunities I will always miss because I'm always fretting over things that don't need to be fretted over. It isn't hard. I need to like just constantly tell myself, it's not that serious. I promise you, once you get started, you get the ball rolling. I think the only corporate term I've ever heard is get the ball rolling. So like, I think I think I should just turn on the computer, or I should just open LinkedIn, or I should and then it'll just start happening, because that's what it normally happens. It just starts happening. So yeah, I'll do that. And also another problem I have is that when it comes to getting the ball rolling and actually doing the thing that I'm stressing about, or not necessarily stressing about, but the process that I'm stressing on doing, what ends up happening is that I get distracted because I want to be doing something else. So do you know what I've learned today? So I have a phone, right? That's what I'm recording on right now. And I have a phone. And the phone I have allows me to make the book I'm reading be read out to me. So what I use on my phone is that I use the Books app, and the Books app, there's no like audible version of it. So I remember before I really, really wanted a way to be able to still be able to know my books or read my books without having to actively be like immersed in the book. Not because I don't want to be immersed in the book, but I'm more interested in what's going on in the book than what's going on in a film or a TV show. Like a film and a TV show, as one who does media, I want to stare at it. I want to stare at all the camera angles. I want to hear the music. I want my full attention on it. But when it comes to a book, I want to be immersed in it because I love books so much. But I can also listen to it like ambiently. Like there's a lot of times, which is, it's not good because I always get myself confused, that I read a book and then there's like, in every book, there's things that you as a reader may find tedious, but as a writer, you feel like it's necessary. It's good to have the option there. So for example, there will be either describing something that I don't feel like it needs to be described in that much detail, or they are having a point of exposition that I just don't feel like it's necessary for the plot, because I feel like you've either explained it before, it's not necessary, or there's angst and I'm just not feeling in an angsty mood. So sometimes I do just skip over the action and read the dialogue, and I feel like that's the inner script writer in me talking, but I do just skip over the action and read the dialogue. But then obviously it's a really bad habit, because one, I know that the author has took so much time to write that specific dialogue, and two, I might feel a bit like tired with the book, and then I'll be questioning myself, why am I so tired with the book? And then I realize I'm so tired with the book because I haven't been reading the book. I've been reading the dialogue and expecting it to come to me. So like when the dialogue, when the action gets all flowy and starts saying like the moody castles of whimsical or something like that. This is not a quote from the book. I don't even know where we're at right now. All I know is that we're at some sort of university. But when they say stuff like that and they talk about the muddy floors and stuff like that, at the start of the book, it's actually, the start of the book I hated. The start of the book, I really struggle getting into a book. Like I love the summaries and then I love everything else that goes in between. But like the start of the book, I really do struggle. But what's it called? When it gets to the middle, I actually really love the action. Like I really do, especially when there's magic involved. When there is magic involved, I am all eyes, or both hands on my phone, like so immersed in what's going on, because I love the way that authors describe magic. Like recently I read a book and they were just like, the way they describe the magic, it was just like, oh, I love it. It's so good. But I don't want to ignore the flowy language because I know that it's important to the scene. It took the author a lot of time to do, and I understand that it's going to allow me to be a lot more immersed into the environment. But sometimes I just do not want to, and I want to skip through the process. But what I've been able to, I don't even know if I'm talking about me skipping through the process or me talking about how I like to read. Like they've all just kind of combined into one. And basically what goes on is that I've learned now that I can go into the settings and I can get my phone to do a special button, and then any text that I highlight, and I don't even need to highlight it, but if I'm not actively planning to hear the entire book be turned into an audible, I would just highlight certain bits that need to be read out to me. I can do that, and then my phone will read it out to me in Siri's voice, and I enjoy it because Siri's voice is the best voice for it, because I've tried the other ones, and I don't think it's necessarily meant for my ears, so I like the other voices as much as I like Siri. Sometimes Siri be saying some crazy things in these books. Like I'll be like, oh, okay, Siri, that is a crazy statement. But then I remember that it's just reading out what's going on in the books. But basically with this newfound knowledge that I've obtained, it's been really helpful for me, because now whilst I am doing those processes that I don't like booting up the computer or getting ready to go to work, even though I don't have a job yet, or like even I don't have the finances to go to the gym. But if I did, I can now still do the processes I like. So for example, I can still hear my book, because I normally would read my book as I'm waiting for my computer to boot up or waiting on the bus to go to work. But then I'll be so disheartened because I'm like, I want to finish the book. Or if it's something that is not like actively demanding, I'll just be like, you know what? I might as well just finish the book. and they're not actually doing the task that I've set out to do instead, except for it's work. If it's work, I'm just going to go straight to work because I cannot be skipping out on work. But if it's like I'm supposed to do a voiceover for a video, I'll just get so engrossed in the book, and then suddenly it's nighttime and I'm sleepy, and anything I try and say in a voiceover, it's going to just sound like absolutely nonsense, like more nonsense than when I'm fully awake. So with that, I've now known that I can get my phone to just read it out to me. So as I'm waiting for the processes, it's reading it out to me. So I'm not on my phone getting too engrossed, but I'm still keeping up with what's going on in my story. And then I'm able to quickly drop the book and get back into what I'm actually doing. I say that it's helping me, but let's see if I can compete and actually do the 3 uploads this week, because it's Thursday today. And this is either going to get uploaded at 6 p.m. British Standard Time, which is in 2 hours. Probably not. Or it's going to get uploaded at midnight / it is a Thursday, so it will be a Friday at 12 a.m. in the morning, and that is the different times that I will potentially upload. And then with that sounding, I don't know, I want to build. Like, I've been holding off on building because I was like, I need to like upload this video, so I want to build. So I probably will upload the base game, probably not the high school / secondary school until next week, and then build something else this week because I just want to build. I like building. I love building. But yeah, and anyway, now I've gone over those processes, I can go back onto my previous topic about placing this. When you're trying to, it is almost finished. Oh my gosh, okay. When you're trying to do videos like this, I'm just going to try and be real quick with it. It's just, you have to enclose it. That's why in the medieval village, there is a little arch and then everything else is enclosed. So the only entry point is that arch. And it's the same way with this desert village. You've got the little arch, but then everything else is enclosed. The only point of entry and exit is that arch in order to make it feel like it's in its own enclosed world. Because if you just do little houses here and there, yeah, you can use debug to block off some of the places. But in a desert village, it's either rocks or sand. And I was not going to touch terrain whilst I'm building on a 50 by something lot, because me and terrain are already not friends. You might be surprised thinking that, because I do like using terrain when, for example, the hospital build or the castle build, but I'm actually not the biggest fan of using it. I want to do everything flat, but terrain just makes everything look so much cooler. But then when you use terrain, then you have to use tool a lot, and it's just a lot going on. But yeah, so you have to make it look enclosed doing this. Now, let's get back to the architecture, because I said I wanted to do that and the video's almost done. With building this, I'm going to be so quick with it, is because the video's almost done and I've wasted my opportunity, and I'm so sorry for that. But within building this, I know someone recommended me before to do a Moroccan apartment, and I was like, okay, I researched something to do with a Moroccan apartment, then I researched some things to do with Egyptian architecture, and then some more Middle Eastern architecture, and I was just like, this is such a wide expanse of places, but the connective factor of all of them, the thing that connects all of them, is the fact that they're very like desert type environments. So I was like in my head, oh, okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just basically not mesh up, because I don't want to devalue the individual cultures that I took inspiration from, but I'm going to try and create some sort of toned down synthesis of all of them, because we don't actually have, like, I know I could have got the kit, but I didn't want to spend money because I'm actually strictly financially. I'm not strictly financially, I'm being dramatic, but I don't have excess money to spend. I don't have, I forgot what the word was, but anyway, no, because we actually are on the tour and I'm still talking, but, I didn't want to mimic the culture and the architectural culture and make it seem almost like I'm mocking it. So I just tried to make it a bit like minimized, but make it all synthesized. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but I was trying to, it's easier to do like English architecture, because we have packs specifically towards English architecture, like the castle kit and stuff like that, and European architecture. But when it comes to, like, for example, the reason why I made that previous video called the Sub-Saharan African house, and rather just instead of naming it like the Mozambican house or the Zambian house or the South African house or the Zimbabwean house, I named it specifically Sub-Saharan because we don't have specifically Sub-Saharan stuff, and I couldn't, with what I used to supplement the things we didn't have, say that, oh, this is specifically from this country, the same way I can for like maybe a Japanese house, because with the Mount Kamarabi kit, we were given more specifically by the Sims team Japanese stuff, and the same way with I don't know, I was gonna say another pack, but most of them are American. But like even Handful of Bagley, I could specifically say that's English because that was said as this is specifically based off of English architecture. Do you get what I mean? But anyway, yeah, that's the whole point. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this build. I kind of hyped it up too much because now I'm looking at it. It's not that great. It's great. It's amazing. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But I was making it seem like it was the, like I was making it like it was bread. Anyway, I'm talking too much into the tour thing. This is the most I've ever talked into the tour thing. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But if you don't want to, that's also okay. I appreciate you staying this long and listen to all of my ramblings. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I appreciate all of your comments. And the more the merrier. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.